It sounds like without a whole lot of huge reasoning and formal like digging into things, you like inherently went the right direction in a whole lot of areas the whole way through your births. Yeah. Somehow you like managed through.
I think it's like that intuition,
yes.
You know, like sometimes you know.
Yeah, like you didn't want the needle, you did not want surgery. Like those helped drive you toward what your body was made to do. It's great.
Welcome to Birth from Within, where inner wisdom meets grounded preparation. We're here to share raw, real birth stories and offer the insight and tools you need to move through the system with courage, clarity, and authority. You are made for this. Your body knows what to do. This podcast is the heart work of a nurse and a perinatal chiropractor, women who have walked our own birth journeys, and now we walk beside you. In each episode, we share practical tools, grounded wisdom, and deep reverence for your body's design. Let's return to the root, because birth doesn't start in a delivery room, birth starts from within.
So, where do I start? With my name, hi, yes. Meyredlis. Originally from Puerto Rico, that will play across a lot of birth stuff too. Been married for 8 years, have 4 kids, 2 in the hospital, 2 home births. I mean, I didn't start right like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have. I wasn't like you, like I want a home birth. I would total opposite. Those people are crazy. I don't know how can you do it. What if something happens? What if the baby dies? At least I'm in the hospital and I will get help right away. Mm-hmm. Which that changed a lot because when I interviewed the midwife I was gonna choose, she was like, if you're in the hospital, you have to be transferred. So if you're in the house, we'll transfer you. So it's like this, and that was something like, oh, okay. They are still prepared, and that's true. I have to be transferred anyways.
Yeah.
So the first one, I was very young, very naive. Oh my God, it was all so like quick. I was pregnant. I was never prepared. The only thing that I took was a breastfeeding class. That's when I like fell in love with breastfeeding and how good it was for baby, but for mom too. Mm-hmm. So that was like no question. I was gonna breastfeed my baby, and the other no question was I didn't want a C-section.
And how old are you?
21.
21.
Yes.
Did you have a reason why you didn't?
Surgery scares me.
Okay, yeah.
It's major surgery, and that one really, you don't know. I mean, what doctor is gonna do it with preparation? Like that's like higher risk of being dead. I don't know, it scares me. So those 2 were like deal breakers, right? Non-negotiables. But when I was like 39 weeks, I think, the doctors say, hey, your placenta is getting old, so we need to induce you. So again, I was naive and young, and I didn't research. I blindly trust my doctor, and I got a little excited because I'm like, oh yeah, like I don't have to wait for this to happen. We're gonna go Friday, and I'm gonna meet my baby. My husband at that time, again, young, and he was like, yeah, whatever you say, I'll follow your lead. So then we went that morning, 6 a.m. to get induced, and my birth class was, I Google how to push because I'm like, oh my God, I'm giving birth and I don't know anything about it.
You're Googling like on your way to deliver?
No, yeah, like waiting in the hospital, waiting to be transferred to the room.
What do I do now?
With my gown.
Do you think that if you never Googled it, your body might know, just hypothetically? Do you think you could do it without knowing?
Or do you think reading I'm going to tell you what I read saved me from not giving up.
Okay.
Wow.
Because, so what did I read? It said, so to push, you have to think in the word relax. So then with breathe, you inhale and exhale. So every contraction, I was like, breathe, relax. And that breathing, right, that now I know it's so important because you're oxygenating your brain. That's where your pain leaves, and you can kind of trick your brain into the pain. That was, like I said, like it's safe because then even during birth, I was like, okay, I'm not going to breathe in the next one. And oh my God, it was so painful. And like, no, the next one I'm breathing. You know, this is all my internal dialogue.
It's also so funny that you're like, let me just see what it's like without air.
Yes.
Oh, worse. Okay.
Before that, I already have watched 2 or 3 births in my family. Because I always
like in person?
I have the interest of being an OBGYN.
Okay.
Like I always knew I wanted to be in a medical world. And birth fascinated me. I don't know where that came from, but I think if I would have known that I could have been a midwife, maybe that would have been my path. But now I'm a chiropractor, prenatal chiropractor, so that's awesome too. Because I already had seen birth, I was kind of like, okay, I can do this. And those births that I saw were traumatic. Like I saw how the husband had to push in the mom's belly to help the baby come out.
Wow.
Where were they at? In a hospital?
Puerto Rico.
But in a hospital?
Both in the hospital.
Okay.
Yes. And the other one had high blood pressure and, all the interventions that come with that. So then, I did the whole relax thing. My husband almost passed out. He told me, like, he couldn't see what was happening down there. Like, he stayed here, but in one I saw him, like, going on his knees, and I was like, what happened?
Gosh.
Then afterwards, he told me, I thought I was going to pass out, so I needed to pray to God to
Wow. I mean, yes, it's intense.
Had he seen a birth?
Never.
Okay.
Never. Again, we were 21.
Yes, absolutely.
We were like high school lovers. That was hard.
Yeah.
Through all this, right, because I am getting induced. So I get the pill that they inserted to, I guess, ripen the cervix. I don't remember anything. Now I know because, I'm involved in this, but they put something in there. They started the IV. I couldn't move from the bed. So my husband had to put what is that called? Like whatever that to go pee or
like
ball.
bedpan?
Yes. To do it. No nurses were coming to help. It was all on him. Then the doctor will come in and out. Oh, you're not dilated. Cervical checks every time that he would come, and it's like, ah! Every time he would leave, he's like, well, if you're not dilated, we are gonna have to do a C-section. And
It's like a threat being hung over you.
Yeah, and inside I'm like, I'm not.
Because you're in total control of your dilation. Hurry up!
Right.
Yeah, that's helping.
So by the 3rd time he came in, he said, well, if you don't want a C-section, I can break your water. And I'm like, do whatever you need to do. I am not gonna have a C-section. So, boop, he put that lung thing. I heard that.
Whoa.
And then that sensation, and that's when the contraction got like super heavy, bad, horrible. Like my body was like breaking into pieces. Again, the only tool I have was relax.
And you're no pain meds at this point as like a...
and Pitocin. Yeah, I have Pitocin. No
so
pain.
Pitocin and they're breaking your water and...
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Pitocin, the pill, break my water. The next time he come, nurses started to say, hey, doctor, it's chronic, and I was like, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know the language they were using. And then the doctor rushed in, trying to put the gown in. No, don't push. And I was like, what do you mean, like, don't push? Like, I was holding in pain. And again, in my mind, it's like, F you, I'm pushing. I don't care if you don't have time to, because he was taking his sweet time to put the gown in. And so I started to push, and the baby came like 2 or 3 pushes.
Wow.
Very quick, very fast. So no C-section.
You made the choice. I feel like that's such another, you made the choice.
Yes.
You made the choice. Even if there were other decisions you would have made now, you were like, I'm not having a C-section. You have to be that staunch in your decision because how often you hear someone say,
but did you get an epidural?
No.
So did
all
you
of
have
my four were on medication.
Did you decide why did they offer it and why did you not choose it?
Well, again, I'm afraid of needles, and I'm like, I don't want to not feel the pain because then how am I gonna push?
That's such good intuition you had, even if you didn't know.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, there was a midwife in me.
Yes.
Then 2nd time, I knew I didn't want anybody to pull the baby out. Because that was another thing that doctor did. Like he wrapped the head. By my 2nd time out, I'm already in chiropractic school. So that was like my why is like, wow, I found my people. Because first, like I said, I was gonna be a doctor, a medical doctor, OBGYN. It was my goal. So then I met this chiropractor. I'm pregnant. That was the first time But when I met that chiropractor, I was already pregnant with my first kid, even though I didn't follow anything of that. But with the way he explained chiropractic to me, it was like, wow, you can heal people, like help people without meds or surgery, right? Because that's ultimately what they have to offer to you, surgery or meds. I still didn't believe him, so I didn't have any prenatal care because you're not gonna touch me or my baby, no. But then going to chiropractic school, I learned about prenatal, kids. The second one, knowing, right, like the things that I could or could not do. That's when I learned about midwife, and I'm like, oh, you can have midwife. And then this is one that was in Atlanta, so they had groups of midwife and OBs. So still, I'm like, okay, I can be in those groups because at least I have doctors. I was still not convinced of I could do, this whole thing. So I'm like, I want to be seen by the midwife, but they reassured me that the midwife were, kind of following orders from the OBs. Yeah. So at least I have this conversation.
That reassured you?
Yes.
Well, for me, it was the opposite.
Really, I was the one like, okay, so what if something happened? She's like, it's okay. Yeah. We have OBs and stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
And I say, okay, so this time I don't want you to tell me that, I have a due date or like I just want to go birth like whenever my baby is ready. And she was like, okay, yeah, we can do that. And I said, and I don't want nobody touching the baby's head or anything. Like, just let the baby to come out. Because at that point too, I have seen so many like rough videos of providers just yanking it, and that's as a chiropractor, right? Like I know that's like the first subluxation is like that, because it's like 70-90 pounds of pressure that you're putting into a fragile neck. So she, again, was okay with all of that. Yeah. And then when the time was coming up, 39 weeks 38, somebody passed, so she had to leave the practice. So she says, so there is a midwife bruise, I think they call it. Like, it's like a mix of castor oil and a bunch of stuff to induce the birth. And I was like, I'm okay if you like she wanted to be with me, but then I'm like, I'm okay, I don't want to do that because I told you in the beginning I wanted to go labor naturally. Yeah. So you can go, take care of your family. If you'll be here for my birth, good. If not, then whatever. Yeah. And then that one, I learned to have more contractions, in my house. My husband was like freaking out we have to go to the hospital. It's like, no yet, I don't think this is it. We called the midwife, and in between contractions she was like, how are you feeling? I was like, I'm great, I'm okay. He's such a show, like he just wants to be in the hospital, because again, I knew that once you go to the hospital, it's stripped to the bed. You can't walk, you can't move. Yeah.
Puerto Rico also? No, I missed it, sorry.
So second time is my current husband, also in chiropractic school at that time.
Okay, near where? What state?
Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I went to school.
Okay.
Because I was still in school when we got pregnant. Okay. I got pregnant. Okay, so I didn't want to go to the hospital. So then I was joking with the midwife was joking with him, saying, oh, why, you don't want to deliver a baby in the car? And he was like, no, she goes fast, because I told him like the first one was fast. Yes. So he was afraid that we were going to have a baby in the car. Yeah. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm not. Also, we didn't have any birth education, anything. I was like, yeah, we're doing it, whatever. Yeah. I can do this. And I knew, again, like I didn't want these interventions, so I was going to spend more time at home. Yeah. And that midwifery group had like they have a mini birth class, like maybe 2 or 3 hours. That they put a pool, and they tell you like, a couple, like very briefly. So that was my birth education, now that I remember. Once my husband was like, this is enough, he took the bags and he was like, we're leaving now. Because that was like whole day of me going contractions. So then I was like, okay, let's go, because it was 30 minutes away. So I'm like, I think, I've been like progressed. So yeah, we got there. We started to sign a bunch of papers. In those paperworks, there was like yes to all shots, yes to the antibiotic, yes, highlighted, and I'm like, I said I don't want any of this. Why is this like? And then through
like it's like filled out for you.
Yeah.
So you're saying,
yeah. She said, whatever you don't want. We have said like, no, you don't want this stuff. But when I read it, it still said yes to everything.
While you're in contractions.
While I'm in contractions. While my water was breaking. That was the first time, because again, first time they broke my water, and the second time, while I'm telling this to the nurse, I'm like, I think I'm peeing myself, because just water was going out. I feel so embarrassed, because I'm like, oh my, inside I'm like, hold it in. What the heck? What is this? And then that's when she's like, oh my God, that's what water is breaking. And then she cleaned the floor, and then it was like with meconium. Yeah. So I have planned like a water birth, but then the hospital said no because of aspiration water. So another one that the doctor came in, checked me, and she was like, oh yeah, you're gonna have this baby tomorrow. It's okay. She left the hospital. This was the OB. She left the hospital to sleep or whatever. She had to come back running because, again, I was crowning. I was like, and she again said, don't push. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna push. So, I pushed. She didn't have the time to pull again. 2-3 pushes, baby was like, wow.
So your like transition was very fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So nice. I labor like, contractions, but then once
slow and steady, and then bam.
When that ring of fire is felt, it's like,
baby.
But also in my head, I always have like, okay, next contraction, I'm gonna push with everything that I have, because I don't want to feel another contraction.
Yeah. Good incentive to get things moving.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Third time, now I am a chiropractor, graduated. I'm into more prenatal care, well more informed about what a doula is, because also with my second one, I didn't know what a doula was. And the doctor told us very mean, like, I told you to hire a doula. But I didn't know why I needed a doula. Yeah. Now I recommend a doula to everybody, even when you're first time mom and you want to do unmedicated,
especially
hospital birth, you want to have a doula.
Yeah.
So then this third one, now I'm like, okay, I have had 2 births that have gone, like I've done it unmedicated and vaginally. So I think I'm ready for a home birth. I want to experience a home birth, because how am I going to tell my patients, I have a home birth, when I haven't had one and I don't know what it feels like. So that's when I was, started interviewing
practicing midwife. What you preach.
Yes. Started interviewing midwife, and then also I was like, so what if I don't want to do this? And what if I don't want to do this? And then there was one that it felt like, I went to a birthing center that felt like I was gonna birth in my grandmother's house. I'm like, I don't see myself in this setting.
Yeah.
And then I found another one, another birthing center, kind of the same vibe. I'm like, what's wrong with people in here? Like, you want to feel, comfortable, like it's your home.
Yes.
Not like you're going to the wild. I found this midwife that while I loved her vibe, her energy, her, okay, you don't want to do that? Okay, you don't want to do that? Okay. And I'm like, but why do I need to do X, Y, and Z? Well, because this is this and la la la, but whatever you want to do.
Wow, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, first I felt that initial connection energy, like, good, that I felt good. And then for her to be open to say, okay, we don't do it.
Yeah.
And that felt even better. And it was amazing. It was going to be in my home. Still did all the visits and all this stuff, which again, I'm like, I'm always like, why do I need to do this? But I still did it.
Meaning like ultrasounds and...
Yeah, all those prenatal visits. Yep. Ultrasounds, I was again with her, like, I know I need the 20 weeks, which I don't even know to what extent. But that was the only one I did with her.
Okay. It sounds like without a whole lot of huge reasoning and formal, like, digging into things, you, like, inherently like went the right direction in a whole lot of areas the whole way through your births. Somehow you like managed through.
Again,
which is very
I think
impressive.
it's like that intuition,
Yes,
you know, like sometimes you know.
Yeah.
Like you didn't want the needle, you did not want surgery. Like those helped drive you toward what your body was made to do. It's great.
So then I had this home birth. The first home birth, I was walking outside my house. I was like almost jogging because something that it worked the second time was power walks.
Yeah.
That is not, which that's another thing that I'm like, when I visit people in birth, they're like just laying there or sitting down. I'm like, every contraction means move, like get in there comfortable, like you're
like get that baby down.
It's like
help
a baby
them get down.
Yes,
That was not my experience though. So it's interesting because I think everybody's innate. Mine was not. I mean, I shifted positions, or maybe I moved on the ball a little bit, but mine was very much.
Did you ever get in the shower?
The breathing. I'd never got in the shower with my second. My first I did, but I'm just saying that was not from like that moving around and moving through. It was potentially moving up over to the bathroom or back onto my knees. But it was not that. Anyway,
Which second baby I agree, I didn't move.
No,
First
but,
was so different.
You did have you come from another perspective and reading what you read.
Yeah.
Again, this is coming from
digging in differently.
Not reading.
And it's also
any
with
of
having
that.
a midwife, like somebody dictating what you're doing versus like for my first one, I liked that, like, tell me what to do so I can just follow orders.
Yeah.
Whereas the second one, no one was there. Most of it was by myself. And I got in the shower, and then the last hour I didn't move either, but I was kneeling. But it was more like, because they're like, why did you go there? I'm like, I could not tell you. It's just, I like went out of body and went there.
Bearing down there.
But yeah, everyone's so different, and nice to be able to move around if you wanted to.
Yes.
Jog, power walk.
Yes. Strapped to the bed.
Yeah, with every contraction, I'm like, I would stop, and then I would tell my husband, okay, let's go. And I would keep moving. And then there was one that is like, I think we need to go inside the house. It was like kind of raining too. And then I got in the shower. I always had like a drink. And then I was like, okay, I think this is the time to get in the pool. Which when I told my family that I was going to do a water birth at home, they were like, you're a dolphin now. So
it's so interesting the comments you get.
Yes, I got a lot of
Which is
crazy.
But also, I just went on a dolphin tour, and I'll tell you, dolphins are actually very, very interesting with how they birth babies.
Now I'm curious.
They like keep with their babies for like years. They breastfeed. It is pretty remarkable. And they have this like nanny, I think is assigned to them, that like helps with the birth because they have to be held up because when they're birthing, they need someone to support them to like breathe, like get above the water for a minute and come back down. So it's a dolphin that's like assigned to them. Little did they know it was exactly what you were.
Yes.
And I feel like those comments, oftentimes they're born out of like just, it's out of left field for most people to hear some of these things and they don't know what else to say other than like, you get a medal for that. I don't think they intend to be like super snarky. They just don't know what to make of what you're telling them. It's so different.
Well, it's not the norm.
No.
Right? Like everybody goes to the hospital.
I think they're afraid for you too, because there is such an innate fear. So doing it different is maybe even knowing like comes out of that too. Of like, I care about you, because I had some people that knew that like in the spirit of caring has lots to say.
I think also I come from a very medically oriented family. The side of my mom. My dad is different, but my mom's side, oh my God. You need to have...
So you were the black sheep in that sense.
Ooh, when I say chiropractic, you're not going to be a real doctor.
Have they come around?
To the level that they have, yes. But not fully. But again, like I respect where everybody is at. I know that's not for everybody. Yeah. Because again, the intuition, the trust that you need, it's like... Because that is just relying on, again, what somebody else is telling you. My hopes is to more people get, awake to another reality.
Yeah, and what's possible if they want it.
Yeah, if they want it. That's the thing, is if you're fearful and of having a baby at home, then like, in a big major way where it paralyzes you, like it's not the best place for you. But for me, like being in a hospital now would be the highest risk place to be, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So that would not fare well for me. I would do so much better as I did at home. And so again, we hope like this voice gets people are looking for this conversation.
And, a voice I love online, she had said too, like, we got the place where you hear a lot about free birth, or it can feel like, what's the gold standard? What are we chasing here? And she said, free birth is not the gold standard. Home birth is not the gold standard. The gold standard is undisturbed. So wherever you are, you want a team and a place where you are left to be free to birth and to listen to your body. And I loved that because it does help you. Yes, it's very, very hard. To an extent, it's unavoidable, but I think there's components you can bring in to do it better, or have a better shot. And I think that's where it's like you need to have advocates as a defense to you to keep people from coming your way.
Because I do like when doulas bring like lights and music and smells, and they put the room all dark, so you kind of can get, you know, that vibe. Still with all the interventions in the back, and
or just saying for people that won't step into being at home, there's just a lot you have to bring to achieve that level of hands-offness.
Again, intuition, trust, and all that.
There's layers of that term, I guess. Variations of undisturbed.
Yes. So that was third. And fourth, it was like, wow, when I saw the contrast, right? Because now I could see what was in the hospital, having a baby in the hospital and having a baby at home. I'm like, why didn't I just pick home all the way long? Like, I didn't have any high risk, you know, never had any issues. But I mean, again, it's good because again, I can share with my people, look, hospital birth looks like this, home birth looks like this, feels like this. Which one did you choose? Because again, it's like, what are you choosing for yourself? It's nothing wrong to go to the hospital, but you need to know ABC can happen in the hospital. Yeah. So do you really want to go to the hospital or stay at home in your atmosphere with your people, surrounded with love, with support, with your peace? Because that was the biggest thing that stuck in of these two birth experiences to me. In the hospital, they will come in and out, checking vitals, giving me this, people that I didn't know, a new nurse, a new thing. And then at home, that first time, I asked my midwife, can I push?
You asked,
You know, because
you've been told your authority.
And she was like, yes, whenever your body tells you to. I was like, okay, I'm ready.
Which is so interesting when you say the interruptions of, like, as the nurse that was going in for fundal checks and vital signs, they're interrupting you because every 4 hours I have to chart those vital signs and I have to have them on baby.
But we don't know. As a patient, I don't know that I can say don't.
And that's just one provider, where you also have a nursing assistant and a doctor, OB, midwife. Like, there's so many different roles of providers that are coming in that have tasks. Or you have to sit there and put it on the whole time. You can't get up.
Right,
or fetal heart tones in labor. Like, they're having to chart all this, all based for liability should something go wrong, so they can have it, right? Versus at home, they had a portable Doppler, and every so often they just checked the heartbeat just to make sure. I was free from everything, you know, and so you didn't have the battle of, I need to have this IV in just in case.
That wasn't peaceful. That contrast.
But just knowing, like, after you have a baby, you're trying to sleep, and it's like, gotta get your, I know it's 4 a.m., but I have to get your vitals. This is 4 a.m. round. So, well, thanks for sharing, everyone. We just want to be a place to share our experience, the experience of women we know, what we have learned in 5 years to a decade to, empower other women to realize this is here for them. There is a different way.
That we are built for this, and that we can do it. We can do it. You can do it.
Yes.
And it can be done unmedicated, vaginal, at your home in a peaceful way, which it's so impactful for how this baby is gonna live life. Yes. And what you're already imprinting in this baby of autonomy and authorship for their life.
Yes.
The information provided in this podcast is not medical advice. It is anecdotal and for general knowledge and informational purposes only. It is not intended to substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have. The use of this information is at your own risk.